hire more people who are more talented than you for the different designation in the company.
I like the last comment you made about hiring people who are more talented than you. I think that was also echoed by, I think it was Steve Jobs, who said,
Yes.
"Hi, people smarter than you."
I keep
Otherwise,
on
what's the
telling
point?
that. I actually keep on telling that to my friends at the same time. And also, sometimes I do also public speaking. I keep on telling that to everyone. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room,
Right.
right? Something like that. So that's why we're into networking also. We're also into attending a lot of events who can, with a lot of people who are much successful than us. So we're very, very happy also with the help of our mentors, and that's why maybe our company is thriving even during pandemic.
Welcome and good day. Today, we have a serial entrepreneur and advisor to billionaires of different industries. We have Grace Nicolas with us, who has over 20 years of experience in launching and growing successful businesses in various fields. Her passion for communication and leadership drives her to create and execute impactful projects that elevate the visibility and reputation of her brands, and her partners. Grace,
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a new audience, so very interesting and looking forward for all your questions. And of course, thank you so much once again.
thank you, Grace. Maybe, Grace, you can expound a little bit more on some of the events or reputation or brands that you've worked with and helped and who you are today.
Sure. Well, we have five companies. It's under Tag Media Group. So it's the holding company. We are in various industries. We are in skincare. We manufacture products. Of course, beauty. It's under AAA Cosmetics and Trading Company. We have also a PR company. That's Tag Media and Public Relations. We just launched recently also Rising Tigers Magazine Inc. It's actually the most distributed business and lifestyle magazine right now in national bookstores. And also, we're very proud since we are also in Philippine Airlines Mabuhay Lounge. We have also one of the biggest company that we have, Hidden Hills Farm by Josefino. So it's in Laguna, it's 3 hectares, and we're very happy with all the produce. And lastly, we have a construction company. I'm an engineer. So it's under AG Builders and Developers. So that's it. That's our five companies. And I hope that you're going to learn more from me today.
Well, we're definitely correct when we say serial entrepreneur. And today we'll be talking about how to launch a successful business. And maybe my first question is entrepreneurship for everybody?
Actually, no. That's first thing. Okay. Because an entrepreneur, of course, we both know that you have more responsibility than if you're an employee. That's why we have a choice. Okay. First thing, one question usually also is if it is born. It's all about leadership. That's first thing at the same time. Okay. If you're an entrepreneur, you have like 24 hours with you working. It's super, super different if you're going to compare it as an employed. Because as an employee, of course, 8 hours. And sometimes we chose to be working just for that limited period of time, right? And then the second one, you need, as what my mentors told me, if you're an entrepreneur, you need to have 3 T's. So what are those? Talent, time, and treasure. Right. So I hope that you can check already or the comparison. So don't forget the 3 T's if you're an entrepreneur: talent, time, and treasure. So there are so many people who likes to become an entrepreneur, but they can't, right? Because of those 3 things. And also, of course, the grit, the determination that you need to have as an entrepreneur. A lot of people also likes to be just like complacent. They just like to have, as I mentioned, like 8 hours with you so that you can spend more time with your family after that. But then again, of course, it's an option and it's a choice. As for me, as an entrepreneur, I have more time with my family. the CMO of the company is my daughter. The chairman is my husband. So now that you can see the difference and also the comparison, it's really up to you. If you have more grit, more determination, if you like to become an entrepreneur. For me, I grew up with the parents who are working. My mother, she's a kindergarten teacher for 15 years. And then eventually, my dad, for 21 years, have a construction company. So, but when my dad asked my mother to join his company, she retired. That's for 15 years of kindergarten teaching, right? So both of them became an entrepreneur. So I grew up in an entrepreneurial parents, right? I started working at the age of at age of 12 years old. Like I think I'm in grade 6. So it's natural for me already working on my own, even though my parents keeps on, asking me to help them. But during that time, I don't complain. I enjoyed so much everything that I'm doing for them. And I'm not thinking that, oh, inuutusan lang ako nito. No, it's like I'm there. It's my exercise at the same time. The construction company is a hardware store, supplying all materials for building houses, for construction of different buildings. So I'm the one weighing the nails. I'm the one counting the hollow blocks. I'm the one counting the cements. And I enjoyed so much. So I think it's natural for each and every one of us who likes to become an entrepreneur. If you have those qualities, right? It's easy, but at the same time, if you're going to check it, it's hard. But then again, if you are passionate on what you're doing, as what they say, well, it's not work at all. Right? So again, it's up to you. Check the river if it is good for you, if it's okay for you. So go for it. So again, the question, if entrepreneurship is for everyone, again, for me, if you're going to ask me, no.
Okay, thank you. What I appreciated most about your answer were the three T's. It was talent, time, and treasure. Let's try to break those down a little bit. Let's start with treasure. I'm guessing that means you must have some finance, some money to get going. Okay,
That's
so
right.
that was a
That's
little
right.
obvious. Let's talk a lot about that a little bit because, in my experience, that's one of the challenges entrepreneurs face. It's not so much that they don't have the money, but they don't know how to manage the money when they start their business. I'll just give you an example. I was recently talking to a group of pharmacists, and the typical problem was I graduate from pharmacy, I put up my little store, and once I see some money, I go in and buy an Innova, and then I start adding on to my fixed costs because you have to pay the car off. And it's not a good time. So in a few years, the pharmacy has a problem. Okay, so that's a typical situation you see. But what recommendations do you have for entrepreneurs when it comes to the treasure, if you want to say?
That's first thing, you really need to have the treasurers, or let's say the investors, or some people who can help you out, especially these days. These days, for the startup people, for the startup companies, they need a lot of people with them or manpower. If they don't have the treasurer, they get somebody like to finance the project. So there's no impossible nowadays. But then again, as I keep on mentioning, do you have the grit to do that? Do you have the grit or the determination to influence these people? Because you need to become credible at the same time, right? If your parents have the money or the budget to help you out, that's a plus point already. If you can check also a lot of heirs right now, a lot of young entrepreneurs, they have billionaires parents, they have millionaires parents or the uncles, right? And that's why they're there. We can read and we can see them all the time anywhere. But then again, there's grit for those startup companies who doesn't have anything, but they have the idea, right? So there are so many groups also online, like Maine. If I'm not mistaken, Maine is Manila Angels Investment Network. there's so many people who can finance the project. So that's first thing at the same time. Second, if you have like a title, if you have like something for collateral from the banks, so you can also do that just to start. When I started, of course, I would say that I have parents that I can get some supplies because first thing, I'm an engineer. So I constructed a lot of buildings in UP, okay, in different government offices. And then, of course, getting also down payments from our clients. But the credibility is there already. My parents own the company and then I build my own. So there's already like, oh, she's credible so that we can get also something from her. So it's easy for me. I even don't have the puhunan, if I would say, because my clients, when I'm constructing their houses or their buildings, they gave me down payment, right? So from that down payment, that's the things or the budget that I need to use, I will use to construct the project. So it's not hard for me. What else? I can loan from the bank because of the credibility, because of the company, the AG Builders, the construction company is the first company that I built. I want to separate with my parents because it's different. I'm doing the labors. My parents own the construction, which is to supply the material. So what's the advantage for me? Instead for me of getting supplies to other construction companies, I'm getting it from my parents. So, I don't know if I would say that I think that's also the treasure because that's the first thing that I can get from my parents. I didn't had any loan from them, but the supplies of the materials came from them. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Let's continue from there. So you have your parents, and maybe let's just expand it a little bit. Maybe some other people might like have a rich uncle or a rich tita or someone to help them out. But let's continue going with that. I've heard some people, and even in my experience, okay, I would never hire a relative. That's me. But I noticed for you, you had your daughter who's the CMO, you had your husband who's the CEO, if I understood correctly. So how does that work out for you?
First thing, we can still go back to the three T's, right? Treasure, talent, and time. The second one is talent. How are you going to not get your siblings or your relative if they're really that talented? Right? So my daughter, she's the CMO under Rising Tigers magazine and then the vice president of Tag Media and Public Relations because she's very talented. She's only 23, but she's very, very good in terms of marketing. If you're going to check the Rising Tigers Cup, that's her idea. We did the first launch in sports in the most posh golf place in the Philippines, which is Manila Golf and Country Club. And that's also her idea. Everyone wants to join us because they can play just anytime in Manila Golf. So my point here, if they're really talented and if they can really contribute in the company, why not? If you're going to check the big companies right now, like Ayala, like Aboitiz, all of the siblings are working for them, right? So, but then again, of course, there's limitation. Sometimes, if your family, everyone's the boss, right? So, when they're giving you suggestion, I'm like, hello, I'm still the COO of the company and you're the CMO. Right? So we still need to have the limitation, the same as any other companies. But again, for me, if you're going to check, of course, there are some designation that I cannot give to just relative, especially if they can't do that. Like as a floor director, nobody likes to become the floor director in our events because it's so tiring, too much work to be done. So it's with my other manpower, something like that. So I think it depends. Again, if your relative is super talented, why not, right? For our chairman, he's also the one handling the finance. If you're going to ask me, much better that a relative will handle the finance, especially if you trust that person. So for me, if you're going to ask me, it depends. But then again, if you're going to ask our company, it's okay for us because again they're talented, you can trust them, and then hire more people who are more talented than you for the different designation in the company.
I like the last comment you made about hiring people who are more talented than you. I think that was also echoed by, I think it was Steve Jobs, who said
Yes,
people smarter than you.
I keep
Otherwise,
on
what's the
telling
point?
that. I actually keep on telling that to my friends at the same time. And also, sometimes I do also public speaking. I keep on telling that to everyone. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room,
Right.
right? Something like that. So that's why we're into networking also. We're also into attending a lot of events who can, with a lot of people who are much successful than us. So we're very, very happy also with the help of our mentors, and that's why maybe our company is thriving even during pandemic.
Wow, that was going to be my next question. How did you guys manage through the pandemic? Can you tell us, expound a little bit on that? Because it was also during the pandemic that many people got the idea that I have to become an entrepreneur. Oh, let's
That's
do my
right.
own, let's do my own gig, if you want to say.
That's right. That's
And at
right.
the same time, well, we can expound on that later. But tell me, how did you guys work through the pandemic?
Okay, so one company that we have is Tag Media and Public Relations. In Tag Media and Public Relations, we produce events. We produce a lot of shows. If you heard about Aliw concert, we do that for the entertainers. These are for the live entertainers. And then if you heard about Asia Leaders Awards, Asia Digital Marketing Expo, Asia HR Expo, that's also under our company. We started doing that, if I'm not mistaken, in 2012. We started also the Laguna Blogging Summit because I'm from Laguna. So for 4 years, I did that, okay, for the Laguna Blogging Summit. So during pandemic, we don't want a lot of people, which is also a mandated of the government, not to have a lot of people in one place. Under Tag Media and Public Relations, we're doing events management. So we can't stop, right? Or else the people under us will not receive any salary, or of course, they will not have those budget for them in that particular events. So what we did, of course, we still need to continue that. For Asia Leaders Awards in 2020 and 2021, in 2020, we're the last event under Makati Shangri-La before they closed down. What we did, because we cannot have 300 people in one place, 30 people per hour. So how's that? Just to execute the event. And people, the entrepreneurs and the awardees loves it. It's more exclusive. And of course, because we don't want with a lot of people, they love it so much. So if we have like 100 people to attend, that's 30 per hour. Then with the cleaning time of like 15 minutes, and then execute another hour for the 30 awardees. So, and then in 2021, the mandate or the policy in Philippine government is different if you're in abroad, right? What we did, we launched it inside the Embassy of Singapore here in DGC. So still we can execute our event, but then again, it's like if you're in the embassy, it's another country, right? So we're not stopping under, of course, if we're going to check, we have the construction stop, right? But then, as what other people keeps on mentioning at the same time, put your eggs in different baskets. So we still have the tag media and public relations, and then we also manufacture during that time alcohol, and we manufacture also the skincare. So don't forget, even the skincare during a pandemic, it blew up.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to wear lipstick, wants to have makeup during Zoom meeting. Don't forget
Yes.
that. Okay, and that's why if you're going to check Lazada and also everything online, the sales for the skincare blew up. It didn't stop. And then, so you just need to, grab all the opportunity and not stop if you want to become successful. The Rising Tiger magazine is just 2 years. So we started it during pandemic. The skincare, we manufacture it during pandemic. So that's why I keep on mentioning that if everyone stopped, our company grew for like 200% more during pandemic. So
Wow, that's really, really excellent. I really like that, especially moving over to Singapore's embassy, a Singaporean embassy. Well, actually, you could have done it in any embassy as long as you had the right connections, if you want to say. And even the notion of breaking down a big group into smaller chunks, but that must have been very tiring because
but
if
you
you're
need
going to do
to
three,
don't
so,
forget, you need to innovate, right? You need to
yes,
innovate, and the right marketing. Okay? And well, what are we going to do during pandemic but just to innovate and to launch a lot of new things, right? There's a lot of time to think about, especially during pandemic. A lot of my colleagues under Yupanco group of companies, because I'm doing consultancy for them, a lot of them from employee became an entrepreneur. Now they have their own milk tea shops, they have their own shawarma, something like that, right? And everything happened because of pandemic. So because of that, it's like it's a reset, right? And then a time for you to think what really matters in the future. Now they're not employees anymore, they're entrepreneurs.
right. So far we've covered so much. Okay, I just asked I think about three questions, but so much has happened. You've discussed about so many things. You've talked about innovating, which was necessary during the pandemic. You had no choice. Then you spoke about how you pointed out that there are very successful families that hire siblings. uh, Maybe just to look at that from a different point of view, I'm sure all of us can also think of very famous families that actually disintegrated because they couldn't work together. Okay, so it's the same things as you said. It really depends on maybe how you handle that or choose to work through it. The other thing I'd like to talk about is when you say talent. Now, many people will say if you can think of it, you can do it, but sometimes it doesn't add up. When I say it doesn't add up, maybe a better way to put that is we all have God-given talents. That's true. And we all have God-given the potential, but sometimes the talent potential that we're looking at isn't the God-given one. Okay, so
I
so
love to sing, right? I love to sing, but I don't think that I'm talented in singing, but I love to sing.
no, maybe it's a perfect example, but some people will insist. Okay, they'll insist on wanting to sing even though they can't. Okay, so
I know.
at what point? Because sometimes it can happen that you believe that this is it. Okay, and then you're working really, really hard. I also understand the concept of grit. Okay, but sometimes you also have to quit because it's not working. In your experience, maybe what are some indicators that you can talk about as saying, "Hey, look, Paul, this is the wrong thing." Okay, stop doing that. All right. Do you have any tips or indicators to tell the person that maybe they're doing the wrong thing?
That's right, that's right. First thing I'd like to share to everyone that I'm also a Go Negosyo certified mentor. So DTI, or the Department of Trade and Industry, keeps on sending me to different parts of the country to talk about three modules. The first one is entrepreneurial mindsetting. That's the module one. Then the module seven is business development. And then the module two, I forgot, I skipped marketing. So, and a lot of micro entrepreneurs keeps on asking us, what's the right business for me? So, each and every one of all the mentors that also been asked with regards to that question, this actually is the answer. If we know the answer, we're going to do that. We're going to build that company. We're going to do that project because the answer is basically we don't know. Okay. But what we know is how to stop. If you're not earning for like the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year, I think you need to stop because of the time also that you wasted. Okay? And you need to accept the fact that it's not for everyone. One sample, if you want to become even if you're in school or after the graduation, right? If you keep on failing, if you want to become a doctor and you keep on failing in your first year, second year, I don't think that you can be a doctor, okay? Because it's very, very hard. That's 8 years. I think even 10 years. If you're an engineer, you're taking the course of, let's say, mechanical engineer, and you that's why there's a limit, even in taking if you like to become a nurse, right? I think in first year, if you keep on failing, they will not allow you after that. Um, in entrepreneurship, yes, they say that you keep on doing what you love as long as you have that three T's, why not? If you have the treasure to burn, why not, right? But if you have a limited budget to pursue what you love, what are you gonna do about it? So check first the trends, check first what's needed in your location, check first what do you think is needed or in demand, and go in that way. That's the idea, or that's the suggestion that I would like to give to everyone who has that question.
Okay, very, very good. I like that answer a lot. Okay, because some people really insist on being an entrepreneur, and personally, when I look at it, sometimes they're not built for it. As you said at the very beginning, it's a matter of choice. Okay, and sometimes even though you want to be an entrepreneur, you're not built for it. Okay, why do it? Okay, uh,
Sometimes there are some people who are okay already and successful as an employee. I'm not saying that everyone go as an entrepreneur or be an entrepreneur, because I know a lot of people who are millionaires, very successful as employed. We all know about MVP, Manny Pangilinan, right? He's employed, okay? And check also the president, the vice president of the company, and they're earning so much. I know this person also. I have this friend who lives in Ayala, Alabang, who drives a BMW, and she's employed. So I'm not saying that being successful is through entrepreneurship. It depends about your passion, on where are you passionate about, or where your talent is, right? Or if you're satisfied already in what you're doing. So again, it's a matter of choice. Again, at the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about happiness. And of course, don't forget, it's all about your family. Um, every time they ask, why are you doing that? So check about it also. For me, I'm doing this for the legacy. That's why I have my family with me also. I want them to continue, even though my child or the CMO of the company, my kid, she's pursuing law. She's 23. She's in LaSalle. She's graduating next year. And yet she can do that because she likes to do that. There's no push. There's no convincing. She loves on what she's doing.
definitely, if it's something you love, you will make time for it regardless. You'll
That's
definitely find time for
right.
that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, on the side, I love to cook, and I'll always find make time for it, regardless.
me too.
Okay. Okay, that's good to hear. Well, let's talk about so we have time, talent, and treasure. Okay, we spoke about treasure, and we spoke a little bit about talent, and then of course there's time. Now it's funny because there was one group I was working with, all employees. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I was working with a group, and this was like we were just coming out of the pandemic. It was like 2021, where they're getting a little maybe not so tight with the rules. And we were in the class, and they're talking about the problems they were having. And I asked them straight out, "How many of you want to be billionaires?" I said, all of them raised their hand. Okay. And then I immediately asked why, and no one could come up with an immediate answer, not one. And I said, maybe that's exactly why you're stressed. You don't even know why you're doing things, okay?
We need to know the whys, why we're doing this, right? And if you're going to, well, I realized a lot of things when my dad died in 2020, December 18, 2020. It's like 360 degrees realization. The first thing is why, okay? So the why, I want to become a billionaire. I don't want to say that I'm not a millionaire. I'm a multimillionaire and I want to become a billionaire. First thing, it's a goal. If you're going to check right now, the average lifespan, 70 years, right? I'm already 48. And to continue, you need to have a goal. You don't need to stop. And the impossible can be possible, right? Before, I don't have the magazine. Now I have it. Before, nobody interviews me, and now you're here in front of me. Before, I can't do this, I can't do that. But then again, because it's just all because of dreams, right? I want to become a billionaire. Why? Because I want to reach more people. I want to help more people in the community. I want to have a legacy that my children and my grandchildren can be proud of. Oh, this she's my Lola, she did this and she did that. I think it's the same thing on why a lot of billionaires right now here in the Philippines put their children in the company to continue the legacy. Okay, so for me, after that December 18, 2020, I got a 360 realization and now I can work 1000% in my ability because I know that there's limitation, but I want to become limitless on what I'm doing. So for that you've shared, I think I want to share also to everyone, do 1000% because nobody cares. That's first thing, yeah. Nobody cares. It's just do it for your family because at the end of the day, it's the family with you who will continue your legacy and nobody else.
I really appreciate that answer for a couple of reasons. Even me, when I talk to employees, I tell them to be careful not to confuse an achievement with an aspiration. Okay. An achievement is I want to be a billionaire. That's an achievement. I want to be the CEO of this company. But then I asked them, an aspiration is the kind of person you become. And I said, you have to be careful here because sometimes you only realize you made a mistake and it's too late. Okay. So I don't want you in there. But at the same time, and I think this is also in my life and as you expressed, sometimes your aspiration happens because you started with an achievement in mind. Okay. And if I'm understanding your story correctly, yes, you wanted to do this and you found yourself doing it. Well, I can't deny that your parents were there and they talked up and they gave you that thought of a legacy for their children. That's always there. But at the same time, you also learned your own why by going through becoming an entrepreneur. Okay. Or did I get that wrong? Yes.
Don't forget that I also work in different companies at the same time that I have my own companies. Okay, it's first thing, shifting or working in a company that you're not used to do it. It's super, super very hard. Um, I'm crying all the time. First thing, I didn't know that it's hard to become an employee if you're used to become an employer. Okay, but I learned so much. First thing that I've learned when I get employed, you need to have this camaraderie with the people around you. Because when I first joined the company, I thought I'm always the boss. Although I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful because I'm reporting directly to the owners of the company. There's no middleman between us. So first thing, I'm very grateful at the same time. But then again, I learned so much to work with a lot of people. When you're the boss, alam mo yun, it's easy for you to just say or to tell them what to do. But when you're an employed, okay, it's not just about you. It's not just about the boss. It's also about the ecosystem, right? There are a lot of people that you need to have the pakikisama, right? So I learned so much about that. I learned so much also to hear them and to know their feelings at the same time. And also that there's no perfect in any organization. Okay, there's always like that issue, there's always like this inggitan, there's always like this everyone wants to be on top. But again, you will not do it without the help of everyone with you. Okay? I'm very grateful again because I became the first job or the first designation, the business development director in one company. And but again, that's when I have my own company. I want to learn more because my parents, when I graduated, I have my own company at this after that. So, and then I became the COO of one company, directly reporting again to the owner of the company. So I can even go anywhere as a COO. And then I became the business develop a marketing head of one company. The boss is in Malaysia. So I'm like, I'm the owner of the company, something like that. But then again, I learned so much with all the co-employees. I learned so much that especially that you have the boss over you. I learned so much during that time. So that's why also a lot of our big brands like the Ayalas, I mentioned like the Yuchenko or other big companies right now, the children first work in other companies before joining them to learn or to feel maybe what it feels like to work that you're not the boss. So it's very, very important. That's what I want to share. And then again, you need to those three things that I mentioned. It's not just also for the as an entrepreneur. That's also for I think in your lifetime you need to have those,
Yes.
right? You cannot live that conveniently if you don't have the treasure, if you don't have the time, which is very, very important because our time is very limited, right? You can have maybe the treasure or the treasure, don't forget, it's subjective. I'm very happy on my position, in my disposition. But if you're going to compare me to those billionaires, if you're not satisfied, you're going to be depressed. So it's also about satisfaction. It's all on your own happiness within, right? With regards to talent, you really need to have a talent, right? Check what talent that you can think you're going to be happy. I want to sing, right? I don't want to say that I'm that talented in singing, but my parents told me just to sing in the bathroom. So something like that. What else? I think again, it's not just for entrepreneurs, the three T's, it's for everyone.
You know, Grace, I cannot thank you enough for this learning filled 40, 45 minutes we've shared. We've spoken about so many things and you've given so many insights. And these insights are things that I'm seeing more like a macro level view of entrepreneurship. Of course, there's the nitty gritty that we all know of, but sometimes these are the things that entrepreneurs forget about. Okay, they just say, okay, I got this great idea, let's get to work. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Now, to our viewers, are there any events, upcoming events that maybe you'd like to invite them to?
Yes, yes, I want to inspire everyone. So, but then we still have 5 events under Tag Media and Public Relations, and that's for December alone. So, 5 events for December 7. We're the ones going to launch the first event under Net 25. So, Net 25, they have 1.7 million followers on Facebook and then 86,000 on Instagram. So, the first time that they're going to launch the Trailblazers Awards and Tag Media and Public Relations is the one who's going to launch it for them. That will be on December 7. And that you check the Facebook account and the website. And then December 11, for the first time again under Aliu Awards, they're going to have the Excellence Awards, and we are the one who's going to execute it for them. So we're very, very happy with the trust of these big companies. And then on the December 20, we have 3 events. We're going to launch our book, The Profiles of Excellence Coffee Table Book in national bookstores. And then we're going to have the SME Awards and the Captains of Industries under Rising Tigers magazine. That will be in Manila Hotel. So those are the 5 events under Tag Media and Public Relations on December alone. Why we're doing this? We just like to grab also the opportunity and to help out these companies and to inspire the nation for nation building. So that's the reason, that's the objective. There's so many problems in this world, right? But then again, we need to get inspired at the same time to move. Ayan. So I hope that everyone will follow us and be inspired with what we're doing.
Well, you definitely inspired me today, and thank you so much for your telling us about your busy December. It really is very, very busy. Now, for the rest of our viewers, please continue with us. If you liked what you saw, do not forget to click on the like, subscribe, and follow buttons. Our upcoming events, we actually have two. We have Tip Talks, which is something that we just started. It's season 1. It'll be episode 4. And in these podcasts, we deconstruct famous speeches around the world. We'll be talking about the speech Cory Aquino gave addressing the American Congress in September 1986. And for the following event here, I will be interviewing none other than Dinah Loomis, the lady who started it all. And remember, everybody, learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas.